everybody, and welcome to the final round of PSGL F2 Season 27 at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. My name is Jess, and joining me for the final time on the F1 2020 game, we've got Dan. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing brilliant as always. I'm really excited to be back in F2 for tonight and doing one of my favourite tracks on the entire game, so it's a fitting way to go out. Of course, Japan love the circuit and it is historical for a number of reasons. We're going to see a great race here today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And if you missed last week's race, we were at Abu Dhabi and the championship was decided after the stewards because Kazui had a 5-second time penalty due to him resetting to track. He also got a penalty removed, but that did not affect him in any ways. We saw Benjamin being crowned the Season 27 F2 champion in Abu Dhabi when all the penalties were considered, and he's been very consistent apart from the last 2 rounds, but I have to say a very deserving champion because it's only been his first season at PSGL and he's going to be in F1 next season, so I hope his final race in F2 is going to be a good send-off for him because he's delivered very well this season.
Absolutely, I've known Benjamin for quite some time, and I'll tell you what, he did not used to be this quick. So he's come a really long way. He's changed much for the better, and it's such a well-deserved championship. And hopefully, we're gonna see him have another performance here.
Yep, and also we've got Kazui and Mish. We got the battle for second place, tied on points actually, 74 points. So I wonder who's gonna get the runner-up prize. Pretty much, well, they're not gonna win anything in terms of money, but they're gonna get something for pride anyway. We got Samuel Bean, who's not here tonight, in 4th position, and Simo's not here either, so Fabi could actually get 3rd. We'll have to wait and see how he does in SIP. We got Table Clan 7th, Will in 9th position. We got Petrox in 10th, Banner 11th, Luca in 12th, 13th CC Brain, Lamp F1 in 14th, and Midnight is in 15th position. Constructors Championship, Renault could take out the title really tonight as long as Kazui has a very good race, but we got only one Renault driver here tonight, 2 AlphaTauri, so it's going to be a close one, I have to say, between the 2 teams, but I have to say my money's going to be on Renault to win this title, Constructors title, but at least you get to commentate on one title being crowned tonight, so you're not losing out on everything in F2, Dan.
Well, I did get to see a champion crown last week. Of course, Sparks winning the F1 championship. That was a special night for me, just because of how long I've known him. It was a really great evening for the both of us, I think, so that was really nice to see. But of course, F2 is a priority for tonight, and hopefully we can see a good constructors fight toward the end. Of course, as you said, 2 AlphaTauri cars, and they're not slow drivers either. They're of course Balana and Benjamin, the champion himself. So Kazui's got his work cut out for him today.
Yes, let's go straight to the track then, as everybody is lining up to do their qualifying laps, which is quite a few people on their laps at the moment. Kazui is in 1st position, Will in 2nd, Will in 3rd, and we've got Balana in 4th, who's in the middle of a lap. Let's just follow Balana on the lap as he's purple sector 1, just past the 2nd Degner. When you go to this hairpin, actually, you can go on the inside when you overtake him, but when you are actually doing a lap, maybe go to the outside will be probably better, as you're going to be going into 5th, 6th gear here as well. We've seen quite a few instances here around the famous spoon curve. We've seen quite a few tile deciders have pretty much ended this way as well, and it's important to get a good run here. Now to the famous 130R. I've seen CC Brain last season make some fantastic moves around the outside of 130R. We're hoping he could possibly do the same tonight. He actually won last season, don't forget, at PSGL, but the safety car did help him a little bit, but he had to have the pace, didn't he? But Banana is going towards the Casio Triangle. They've been warned to not cut the final chicane, otherwise they will get a time penalty. Up to the line he goes, and it's a 125.6 for him in P6, with teammate Benjamin is on par with KJ in 2nd.
Everyone has actually managed to put in their runs at the very end of it, as Hadler has just gone into 11th position. You can see the field spread very tightly packed and on the entire grid. 16 drivers tonight, separated by 7/10 of a second. The gap between Benjamin and Elting That is crazy to see. 2,000th of a second between the pair of them, and Lamp is only 100th off. So that's 3 cars separated by 13,000th of a second. Incredible to see all these guys, and hopefully they can translate all of this to the race. But I don't think anyone is pushing on a second run. Maybe Fabi's looking like no, he's not. Okay, he was using up some of his overtake through a second deck now, but he's backed off on that one. So it seems like everyone's kind of coming to the pit lane, and we'll see them come out very, very shortly for their second runs in this session.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked as well, and some nice times right off the bat as well, especially from Benjamin and KJ. Now, a lot of these drivers have not proven themselves too much in this season, and if they want to get into the top tier, the pinnacle leagues of F1, they really got to get a good result tonight. Connor was warning people in the chat that if they want to move up a division like Benjamin's going to be doing next season, and we're almost guaranteed that Benjamin's going to be moving up. But who's going to be moving up with him? Not many. I think it's only like 12 F1 people have signed up already for next season. There might be more since I've discussed it last week. But, you know, I think as pretty much Toxic may need to prove himself as well. I'm thinking the likes of Balliner as well, who I think is F1 material. And don't forget Kazooie as well, who is, don't forget he was on from F4 last season and could be on the jump to go into F1 next season as well. Maybe he could turn to CRG Sparks, who was in, I think I remember, F3 in the previous games. And I think season 23, he moved to F1. So maybe we could see a Kazooie Sparks replication. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm very impressed with how Kazooie has come on during this game, despite the fact that he was a champion in F4 and he was a title contender in F2. He just missed out last week, but he could be on course to be getting runner-up tonight.
Absolutely, I definitely think that the people who could be going up, they might not necessarily be the drivers who are at the top of the points, where Benjamin is certainly going to F1. There is no doubt about it, of how quick he has displayed himself to be this season. There are other guys that are a little bit further down the order, which I can see getting a seat in F1. Like you said, Balliner is very talented. Lamp as well. He's come on leaps and bounds in recent weeks. Of course, picked up a win in Mexico, which I was a bit upset that I didn't get to see. But yeah, all these guys are going to have a lot of competition on their hands, and we could definitely see some of these guys doing well in F1 next season.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget, sign-ups close in towards the end of this week. Actually, actually tonight, I believe. Let me just check when the sign-ups close. So if you want to sign up for season 28, and who knows, we may get to commentate on one of the tiers this season for you, maybe potentially if you're running no assist. They do close at midnight tonight as well. So if you are interested, go on to our Discord server, which you can find I think in the description. I don't know, or we could put it in the chat in a second. But yeah, make sure you sign up. It's a really, really great league. We have over 300 sign-ups at the moment. It's guaranteed that the top 3 tiers will be completely no assist, but depending on how many people sign up, we may have F4 run no assist as well, but F5 and F6 will be running line only, and then every other tier is going to be just all assists. So yes, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who moves up as well from F3 up to F2, or maybe even F1. Maybe we see an F4 to F1, F2 jump again, but we shall see, of course. But there's been many battles in the past around Japan. Senna and Prost 1989, where I remember that Senna actually got disqualified for an illegal entry after he technically retired, and it gave someone actually his first ever win, actually first and only win as well. So we could see a surprise win today. We'll have to wait and see, but we got 8 minutes to go of qualifying, as Kazooie, the one who could take second here tonight, is going through just past spin and heading towards 130R as well. Yet to get a win. I haven't seen him get a win this season, and maybe tonight could be his night. I keep saying it every week. Could this be the night? Could this be the night? But it never happens. Well, to be fair, I keep saying that to Benjamin, Dan, but he got it in USA. So he comes across the line now, and nobody goes to the pits. So I jinxed him there, but he's fourth for the moment. But we'll see if he can challenge for the win tonight.
Yeah, Lamp just crossed the line at the moment. He has not improved on that run. He was a little bit down through a second split. I was thinking that he probably could have maybe found just that little bit of time, but unfortunately he was not meant to be. Lamakino's looking like he's really strong through a second sector, now coming up towards the line. There he goes to the top at 25.2 for the reserve driver tonight. Of course, picked up a podium a couple of weeks ago. Really strong for him to take that pole position. These are some strong times coming out from these drivers. We probably could expect a lot of them to go into the 24s by the end of the session. Of course, 7 minutes left to go. The track has still got quite a bit of rubber to be applied to the circuit. Trying to find someone else on our lap. Of course, our champion from last season, Tomato, just coming through the final sector at the moment. He's a little bit up on his time. You could definitely see him shoot up the order because of how close it is at this moment in time. And he certainly does. He goes into 10th position, which isn't the best place to start, considering you don't get the free choice of times. But it is a respectable lap time from him coming out there.
What I've noticed as well from these drivers, everybody that has set their lap, they've all done it on the soft tyre. Now, I thought a lot more people would be going onto the medium tyres. Now, I've seen it on Thursday with the Xbox League, the championship finale. Everyone did their first lap on softs. And what struck me was at the start of the race, it was raining. So could we see a similar situation in F2 tonight where we could have rain maybe at the start of the race, or we could have a full wet race? We hardly had any rain this season. I think we only had quite a few instances of rain in comparison to last season when we had rain for like the first 6 races or so. So it's definitely a different comparison. Anyway, Fabi is going through 130R with a broken front wing, so that is not good. He doesn't have enough tyres to set his lap, so that's not good for him, as he's the one that could be taking a point advantage due to his nearest rival not here. And there's also a few penalties to bear in mind from last week. Petrox won the race on track, but due to the penalties given by the stewards for cutting the pit lane exit line, Simo actually took his second win of the season. He's not here tonight though, but he's definitely ended his season on a high. But I'm sure Fabi will take advantage of those 2 drivers not being here tonight, and of course Samuel Bean as well not being here tonight. Maybe Fabi could potentially get third in the standings. It's going to be a tall order, but we've seen surprises from Fabi, and like we said, everyone needs a strong performance if they want to move up a tier.
Well, for Fabi to take 3rd position today, 4th position off of Samuel Bean and Simo, who's in 6th at the moment. He'll need the win, at least the win, and that is it. Doesn't need to pass lap, but probably would help him if he did. But we'll follow along with someone who's just begun a lap. Of course, Kazui, 2nd in the championship, and he's currently 7th behind his main rival. He's about just under a 10th off of Niche, so he's going to want to improve. He's just about to come up through the first sector split now. We'll see what he can do through this part, and it is a pretty nice improvement from him. Just over 1.5 tenths coming out from Kazui for the first sector. Of course, an improvement, which is really strong, especially since he's got the rest of the lap to go. Big lock up through the hairpin, which is difficult to do, swinging the car out and just trying to get high up through the gears, coming up towards Spoon Cove, where of course Vettel and Verstappen collided in 2018. A very dangerous corner, especially for invalidation. P1 run just a slight bit too wide, and he was right on the limit there, coming through the corner and off the exit on the run up towards 130. I will cross into the 3rd sector here to see what his 2nd sector time was, and if he has improved by any much more. He's quite nice on this time at the moment, almost 2 tenths up. This could put him in the upper reaches of the top 5. Lock up through the Casio triangle, and now towards the final corner where the final Suzuka bump. Well, why would you go into the pit lane?
Oh,
Kazui! He's ruined it there.
He's jinxed us. He's like, you know what? It's the final race of the season. We're not doing very well with hot laps. Can we actually get someone on a hot lap? It's probably not going to work. Anyway, Petrox last week's pole man comes across the line in 4th position. Everybody's in not even saying a lap yet or in the pits. The only one who's on an out lap is Greeny LFC, which I believe, if I look at the standings, he got his first ever point in Singapore. He got a point last week in Abu Dhabi, which I have to say was very impressive for him, all things considered as well. Mercedes not doing very well in the constructors, but there's many teams that have done a lot worse. I have to say, I'm trying to remember where Mercedes are. They're 9th in the standings by 1 point. Red Bull is in last position, but there's no Red Bull drivers here tonight. So again, a team that could definitely take advantage of Red Bull not being here, with Luca and Manolo obviously not being here. It's a shame that we don't have all 20 drivers here tonight, but at least we got some reserves ready to give F2 a proper send-off for season 27, as I don't think he was purple set to 1, and Greeny had to get used to no line this season, as does a few other drivers like Toxic, for example, CC Brain too. It must be really hard to turn off line completely, especially when last season you had basically line to use, basically. But at least for the second season of it next season, I'm sure they'll be more comfortable than people that may be turning line off for the first time next season, as Greeny had invalidated his lap. Ugh.
Unfortunate invalidation there coming out from Green, and that was just the slightest bit too wide. He was improving a little bit on his lap, but I'd like to give a little bit of credit to the Mercedes team for being a brilliant admin team throughout this season, and of course Greeny being one of them, CC Brain being the other. Those guys do a stellar job of actually running the entire division, so you do have to hand it to them. So hopefully we can get a little bit of love for both Mercedes drivers. But it seems like now, with 2 minutes left to go in the session, everyone is coming out of the pit lane, and I believe our champion is actually the first one who's spearheading this. Never mind, it is, I believe, his teammate actually, who is the furthest up on the circuit on his outlap.
Yeah, obviously no slipstream is allowed in this league. If they do get caught doing that, then they will get penalised after the race, of course. But we don't want anyone to be penalised after the race, because that will ruin their finale pretty much. But at least Ballina has a bit of clear air in front of him. He's not going to have the most track evolution, but to be honest, he wants enough time to maybe get 2 laps in. And if there is rain at the start, maybe he can possibly have the advantage of having 2 laps on the softs if you're not going to use the softs at all. Why not? It's the final race of the season, as well as Mish is also on. Oh, he spun into... where was that? That was the start of pretty much the S's. Yep, is just the end of the S's, actually. So the one who's challenging for second in the Drivers' Championship didn't get his lap off to a great start. He may have time to go again, but his tyres don't look good in it, unfortunately, for Mish there. But there's still time. You could still do the alternate strategy if people qualify ahead of him. But it's going to be a tall order. Ballina is going through Spoon. I think, yeah, he's going through Spoon now. So let's follow him for the rest of his lap. And Dan, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Who's your money for pole right now?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Petrox, because he's just retired. It seemed like at the beginning of the Dunlop curve. He's done that on the circuit, I believe. I don't think that car is stranded there. As oh dear, KJ has just flipped the car entirely, and that is upside down. Right, straight line Dunlop curve there.
Ballina across the line.
Stuff, but oh yeah, well, that's a very strong time from Ballina to come out 25.1. He certainly could be one of the pole men for today, but I'm going to put my money on Lamp F1 to get pole.
You haven't actually seen Lamp F1 win when you're commentating, and you did say before the stream that you're hoping that would happen. So anyway, Mish comes across the line, I believe. So I think we're getting a timing glitch, I think, on our end, because I think they're going out for one more lap, I believe. So yeah, that's not the first time we've seen it in this league, as Makina has gone for a little bit of a spin. There's someone that just gone past. That's Kazooie, I think. Makina has to move out of the way, which he does. There's a few more people come across the line. Benjamin goes on pole position with a 125.0. Could we see people going to the 124s? Kazooie can't. He has invalidated his lap time. We've got a Williams driver of, is it Toxic? Yes, it is Toxic. Last season's champion. Obviously won't be champion this season. Handing the reins over to Benjamin, but shortest run to the line at 125.6 puts him in 10th position. We've got, I think, a Ferrari and Alfa Romeo crossing the line. We've got Roll Valley moves up into 9th place. Good result for him. Babby moves up to 4th position. Purple set to 3. That's really, really good. What about Benjamin's teammate Ballina? Is he going to go on for another lap? I think he's slowing down a little bit. Nope, he's not. He's going into the pits most likely. I think that's it for qualifying. And the reigning, the newly crowned F2 champion from last week, Benjamin, is on pole position, and it's an AlphaTauri 1 and 2. And I have to say, if it's like this at the end of the race, this could shift the constructors all the way in AlphaTauri's favour.
Well, I don't think we've seen a 1-2 lockout for a pair of the AlphaTauri drivers, but really strong performances from the pair of them. These two, both very brilliant talents, and they're quite a little bit faster than their rivals. Just 0.02 of a second separating the pair of them, and then a further 1.5 tenths separating Benjamin and Lamakina. So really, there is a big divide between the pair of them and the rest of the grid. So which is AlphaTauri in a really strong position, especially since Kazooie starting all the way down in 9th. Not an easy track to overtake, but certainly one you can make some daring moves on. if anyone can do that, it is going to be Kazoo.
And you can tell basically their teammates being practicing and they want the Constructors title so badly. 26,000 separating them. So well done to both Benjamin and the Bannon. Then we got Makino in third. We got an all-German 3-4, which is great to see. Petrox in fifth, KJ in sixth. We got Lamp in seventh, Mish in eighth, Kazooie in ninth, World Rally in 10th. Then we got Hadler, Toxic, Will, Midnight, Greeny, and CC Brain in 16th. And everyone separated by just under a second. And that's a great way to end the last qualifying session of the season. Everyone just under a second.
Yeah, it's really great to see how close really this grid is. And hopefully we'll see a lot of these guys fighting each other in the next season. Of course, sign-ups are still open. I believe one way you can join the Discord server is by going to PSGL's Twitter. There's Rain on Circuit there. That is going to be certainly saucy. But if you go onto PSGL's Twitter, which I do believe is Premier Sim GL, you'll have a link to Discord in the bio there. So if you want to sign up, head over to Discord and then fill it out from there.
Like I said, you don't have long to sign up. Sign-ups close at midnight on tonight, so you don't have long to do it. And if you already signed up already, and if you're a new driver, evaluation, you only have time to do your evaluation races until the 12th of March, which is this Friday at 8 p.m. So not that long to do it at all. You only need to do an evaluation race if you haven't done season 27 if you've done less than 2 races in season 27 or haven't done it at all. So yes, pretty much very, very interesting indeed as we are about to head to the grid. And that is strongly, I think, my predictions on going to be a race was definitely right due to everyone doing their first laps on the soft tyres. So a similar start to what we've seen in Xbox on Thursday night. That's going to be intriguing to say the least, but a lot darker, I would say, than Thursday night. So it could be like this for the whole race. We don't need to go on the tyres because we intermediate conditions for every single driver, and yeah, that's going to be a spicy end to season 27, I have to say. And we haven't had many wets. We haven't actually had a wet start to the race, have we, Dan?
I don't believe we have. I think we've definitely seen some wet races. We definitely had Singapore, which was tipping it down with rain for pretty much the entire Grand Prix. But I don't remember actually starting out and it being wet weather conditions, and that really does just beg the question: how quick could those guys actually gone in qualifying? They're probably all running wet setups for qualifying or something similar to it, and they definitely could have gone a lot quicker than they did. A 25.0 is it's a stellar lap time coming out from Benjamin, and it could have been even quicker if it was done on a dry setup. I don't believe there's too much of a difference in this setup, but it could have just been enough to put them into the 1 minute 24.9. So
yeah, that's, I think, the important thing to talk about as well. Like, what setups have they brought into this race? Now, if it's going to be rain for the entire race, wet setup definitely, and that's probably why some of them are struggling potentially as well. I would like to see a wet to dry race. Come on, I would like to them to throw a spanner in the works. We don't have a clue of what the strategy is going to be. The int is going to last the same time as the mediums. That's all we know. But will they end up going on to the slicks at the start of the race? We'll have to wait and see, as Benjamin is going to be lining up onto the grid very soon for the last time in F2, making his way to F1 next season. It's going to be a huge pressure for him, but at least he's going to have some fun next season as well. A huge challenge goes Benjamin, so I'm going to miss commentating on him in F2 next season, but I'm sure that Dan's going to have great joy commentating on him in again next season. As for those of you that don't know, Danny will be commentating on F1 alongside Luke next season in season 28. So this is going to be his final F2 race with me, which is quite sad. But who is your money for the win? Who do you want to win your final F2 race of the season?
it's because I'm biased. I think Lamp is going to win this race, but that is where the bias ends. I think the rest of the podium will be filled out by Benjamin, and we'll go with Lamakina for the end of it.
Okay, so and I've just got your DM, and I did check that, so it's all good. Anyway, so we're about to get on to the start of the race. 5 red lights are on. Benjamin and Ballina looking out the front row for AlphaTauri, and it is lights out, and away we go to the final round of season 27. A pretty even start from both the AlphaTauris, but a great start from Benjamin as they make way through turn 1. Makina got a very good start as well, as Fabi in 4th position. As let's see if they all make it through turn 1 cleanly. Surprisingly, most of these drivers are keeping it very, very cautious, heading towards turn 3 now, and the start of the S's section at the moment. Pedrox and Kazooie hang about. Kazooie not having the best of starts, dropping all the way down into 10th position at the moment. Now back up tonight with Petrox losing out as well. Midnight trying to defend from Greeny LFC. Greeny LFC goes to the left-hand side into Dunlop Curb. It's very, very slippery at the moment. Very, very tricky conditions. Let's see Midnight could hold on to his line. He's going to try to, at least as he goes through the second Dunlop. And I think Toxic almost had a bit of a slide there going just before the hairpin there. That was very, very close from Toxic, but apart from that, everybody else seemed to keep it clean. So well done to everybody as World Rally tries to defend from Toxic and the 2 Williams. Oh, this is very feisty for the first lap of the Grand Prix. I'm liking that.
It's been a really good start for Benjamin already. That was all the second. Of course, no DRS through in wet conditions, but there's only one straight on this circuit anyways. KJL taking the country very close to the back of Fabi here. It's about 2.5 tenths back. But yeah, big mistake coming out from Tomato. He lost a couple of positions off of that one. Of course, out of Degner too. You see KJ, he's going for the move. He's looking for it into the Casio triangle to the right side, the inside line for the first part of the chicane. And he's somehow made the move work under braking. And Fabi left with his tail in between his legs. Misha's going to throw and go around the outside. He's actually made a little bit of contact with Fabi there. And luckily, neither of them has ended up where I believe Montoya went off in 2005. So really nice to see that they kept it clean, but Mish not able to take the position off of Fabi there.
Nope, he didn't. Fabi actually having a very good start compared to everybody else as well. And don't worry, it's Benjamin that's leading at the moment. Unfortunately, we are getting some timing issues, and typical. We have this at the final race of the Grand Prix, so it's not Lamborghini leading the race. And for the first race in a while, nobody has gone into the pit lane for damage at the end of lap 1. I've got to say, well done to everyone for getting no damage, and even if they do have damage, it's probably very minor, as let's see if the timing settle itself, which it does, I believe. Hopefully the Delta's fixed himself as well. Yes, I agree, very hard to overtake, and there's only one DRS straight anyway for these drivers to manage, so it's not going to be a huge difference in terms of overtaking, but they got to rely on slipstream too much, and the conditions are absolutely awful at the moment. You can hardly see. But it looks like it's probably going to be like this for the whole race, because otherwise it will just ease off completely. But we shall see as everybody is making their way. Well, most people are making their way through Spoon at the moment. Benjamin's already pulling a 1.2 second gap over Ballina at this stage. So Benjamin doing very well to score as many points as he can. Ballina saying purple set to 2 at the moment. So we've got an AlphaTauri 1-2 and an Alfa Romeo 3-4 as well. And I have to say, if KJ keeps his performance up, he could be a really strong contender for maybe the F2 title next season, or maybe climbing up to F1. We shall see as World Rally makes the move on Toxic Tomato in part of the Casio triangle, and he's up into the points paying position.
That was a little bit of a naughty one from World Rally. They came from a long way back, and then Toxic really did have nowhere to go. And both of them running very, very wide. I think Will's trying to sneak up the inside of his teammate. He's not been able to make that one stick. But World Rally nevertheless managed to make the move. But unfortunately, they've lost quite a lot of time. They've lost touch completely with the rest of the top 9 at the moment, who are all very closely packed, especially from about 4th place downwards. They are all in one big bunch. It seems like the top 3 really begin to streak away from each other now. Seems like the Wet Merchants have really shown themselves at this point in time. I do remember Mish being very, very quick in the wet at Singapore, so he could certainly try and close up to back on Fabi and KJ, and maybe try and make a move at some point. But yeah, seems like at the moment it's just all nice and tidy for the majority of the grid. Aside from that little bit of contact with World Rally and Tomato, it's seeming like there's just a little bit of sun peeking through, but still heavy rain here. I wouldn't expect wet conditions, but there's maybe a chance towards the end of the Grand Prix that we can go to slick running.
Yeah, it's impossible to tell at the moment. The drivers have got to be on their A game and go with their gut feeling, to be honest, as we've seen in quite a few races where there's wet to dry around Japan, where someone left it too late to go onto the dries, and that costed them a chance of maybe getting into the points. So to be honest, you really got to take some risks sometimes and take the gamble around Japan, especially that Japan is quite common for these type of mixed conditions, and it had to be F2 that we get these mixed conditions. We'll see if F1 gets exactly the same later on tonight, where you're going to watch the season finale there, as well as we've got some more battles going up in the midfield between Fabi, Mish and Lamp. Once again, Lamp is doing very well in these intermediate conditions, and I have to say, when I believe it was transitioned into wet, in obviously the Mexican Grand Prix, when Bryn and I were commentating, Lamp was absolutely perfect in the inters towards the end, and in the wets actually towards the end. I wasn't sure if it was dries or going on to inters, I'm not entirely sure, but he was looking very confident, so I'm not surprised that he's up there fighting up with the best in the top 10 right now, but he wants to try and score as many points for the Ferrari team as much as they possibly can. Of course, Lamp a very strong contender to probably stay in F2 next season, but we are not counting our chickens just yet, as I think the battles are starting to ease off a little bit, but maybe no, actually the two Williams boys are fighting for position. No, it might be Toxic that's lost 2 positions, maybe he can lose a third as Midnight dives it around the right hand side there. Midnight goes off as well. So much chaos in the background happening towards Spoon. You can lose it a lot of time there if you spin, especially in the wet conditions. I wouldn't want to drive in Spoon in these wet conditions, I have to say, but these drivers are doing superbly at the moment, as everyone is still very, very close to each other. But yeah, Midnight almost gained a position on Handler there, but couldn't quite do it, and Tomato seems to be struggling over his teammate, I think.
And at the front, Benjamin's just streaking away even more. 2.3 seconds is the gap between himself and Balan. It seems like Lamborghini has found a way to close up to the AlphaTauri driver. It seems like just a little bit further down behind them, it's still raging on the battle for 4th position. Midnight picking up a 3-second time. He might have made a mistake there, because he's actually losing the position to Tomato, and now they're going to run wheel to wheel through this beginning of the SS section. It is very bold and very brave if they want to battle here, and it seems like Midnight has backed out, so he's lost the position that he made up at Spoon last lap, and it's just come to absolutely nothing. It seems like for the top 4, I think KJ might be the weakest link at the moment, but he has got track position over these guys, and they're not able to push to catch up to La Machina, so they've got to do their best to get by if they want to be fighting them by the end of the race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, Machina has had podiums pretty much. When he's been reserving for the Alfa Romeo team, he's been doing so well, obviously, with name changer leaving and all that, and he's definitely been delivering when it counted, really. And yeah, that podium that he got, I think it was one in Mexico as well, it really helped him solidify his place in the league, of course. But we'll see how he does as he heads through 130. I think looking strong to potentially get past Bannon. I think Benjamin is loving the wet conditions. Let's hope there's no glitches with the tyres compared to the dries, but I don't think it's going to happen, because obviously they're most likely, if there is going to be dry conditions, it may probably be going on to the softs. But it's starting to get better than it was the last couple of laps, so it might just be my eyes deceiving things a little bit. And Kazooie in 8th position. Renault are only going to score, I believe, 3 points if they stay like this. Midnight, I believe, loses a position. No, actually gains position for Toxic Tomato again. Midnight, the first driver to actually pick a 3-second time penalty. Everybody else completely clean, but the only place you can invalidate really is the Degner curve, maybe Spoon, and potentially the Casio triangle as well. There's not many other places where you can invalidate, so that's probably why they're getting less penalties right now, as we're seeing two of the Mercedes fighting for last position, giving us a proper send-off, to say the least. And CT Brain's just giving it full beans and maybe just putting it patient at the moment. But McKean at 5 temps now, 6 temps now. He's closing in on Banner. This is going to be very, very intense for both drivers involved.
Yeah, and just a little bit behind them, Mish was right to the back of Fabian towards turn 1, but couldn't find a move on the, I believe he's German, is Fabi. Hopefully I've caught that one right, but yeah, he was really close up to the back of him, and he just wasn't able to get the run that he needed. He suddenly closed up to the back of Fabi on the run up towards 130 yards. Like KJ Elting also making a mistake and has brought Fabi right into this one. You can see 1.5 tenths is the gap between Fabi and Misha at the moment. He's going to try and dive it into Casio Triangle, just kind of hang back for the time being. But now, on the exit of the final corner, Fabi's got 3 tenths between himself and KJ. Big snap of oversteer for the German man, and he's actually lost quite a bit of time to KJ. That could have been a move in the making. Ballina picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's actually got Lamakina right behind him as well on the run up towards the SE section. Lamakina has come alive in this race, and Ballina feeling the pressure.
I'm liking to see the battle for the second place in the race, to be honest, because it's just they've been told about the warning that if they don't deliver today, they may get demoted a tier. I think this is what's helping them today with that motivation that I got to do well, I've got to perform, I've got to keep going, giving these consistent results, and Ballina is definitely proven that, as well as Makina as well, but yeah, Ballina's probably struggling with his tires. Meanwhile, Fabi has just got past KJ in past the second Daytona, I think. Yes, he did. So Fabi doing very, very well in full position right now. KJ struggling a little bit, and oh my word, that was very, very quick. It stopped raining. It stopped raining.
It's certainly going to start to dry up. A lot of spray still on the circuit, but there is no rain in the sky. There might be just a slight bit of drizzle, but I wouldn't expect it at this point. So now it's going to be crucial for these guys to fight each other, and Lamakina manages to find a way through on Ballina before 130R comes. But they want to be ahead of their rivals. Come pit stop fade, and a really bad run through 130R for Eltig, and has actually allowed for Mish to completely slip up the inside. A brilliant move, opportunistic from the Italian driver. And now they should start to think about when they need to pit. Of course, there's still a lot of standing water. Lamp already, and that is very ambitious from the Ferrari driver. He's going onto a set of hard tyres. This might be a little bit too early for the Englishman, and he might also get held up by by Will and Midnight, and it seems like it's okay.
It's good timing.
Me.
It's good timing for Lamp.
And it is worked out perfectly.
Could Lamp win this race?
Well, it might just be the charm of me saying that he is going to win, but of course a long way to go in this race. We've got about 20 laps left in this one, but still shouldn't be the best conditions for the dries, but it will certainly definitely be a lot better than the intermediates come the end of the lap for a lot of these drivers as well. So Lamp in a good position at the moment to certainly make up a top position on drivers around him. Not too sure about Benjamin and Ballina and Makina of the likes, but certainly very smart move from Lamp.
Yeah, I have to say, you have to take the risk there, and I've noticed it was drying very quickly. I remember when it was wet to dry in Xbox, it just took so long for the rain to just completely go away once there was no rain at all for the standing water to go exactly. And in this, it just was like rain, and then it was completely dry, just like that. So it just goes to show the difference in the lobbies, to be honest, as well. So I'm assuming a lot of people are going to go into the pits. Meanwhile, we got Kazooie and KJ fighting up front in towards 130 yards. Important that you get the move nice and early before you go into the pits. KJ's losing a lot of positions due to that. Actually, it's almost been passed by Rob Rally, which he does, and it's going to be a huge sprint to the pits for every driver. A lot of drivers are going to be held up. Roll Rally's going to have advantage because his teammate is pitted already. Everybody else might be in danger. Kazooie is not going to be in danger because his teammate's not here. But Kazooie has got a 5-second penalty for speeding. That is, his woes have gone from bad to worse, and if his woes continue, that might give Mish all the advantage he needs to be second in the championship.
Yeah, and he got a 5-second time penalty speed in the pit lane. KJ Eltink was actually a bit of a victim, but here comes Lamp. Might be around the outside of Mish, just stayed a little bit behind, but yeah, KJ, his team wasn't ready for him because Lamakina was, of course, in the pit lane. What I find very surprising is that Fabi's actually jumped Ballina, of course, having to double stack for the AlphaTauri team has not worked out at all. It just is not an option in this game. You can see how close Kazooie is to the back of Lamp. You could try and find an opportunity at some point to maybe go for a move through Dunlop curve, maybe one of the Degnas. He's just going to hang back for the time being. It seems like everyone has gone onto a set of mediums, and Lamp is just the only outlier here. He's gone onto a set of hards. I think the mediums probably could go to the end, but it's very tricky to overtake around here, so whatever works for him will work. That might work for Kazooie, though, because he's trying to go up the inside, leaving the room. It does Lamp there,
Whoa!
and that is allowed for Kazooie. Brilliant move to go up the inside of Lamp, and Will just trying to fight this one back, but he can't make the move. So I think probably the medium tires was the right way to go.
Yeah, I think it was. And to be honest, the mediums last around about, I would say, it's last 16 laps. And the delta between the mediums and the hards is around about 5, 6 tenths per second. So it's going to be a bit of a push for the medium runners. But since they're in much cooler conditions compared to a normal Japan race, and maybe they could potentially do it as well. And maybe they're also predicting for a late safety car to throw into the mix as well. There's still a bit of spray too, which may help them push these tyres to the end. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Maybe that's why Lamp did go onto the hards, because he thought he could do it. Petrox is in, and oh no, that is not what you want to do. That's how Kazooie got caught off last week, resetting to track. And I did question last week of what the rules for that. You are allowed to do it if there's no one directly in front of you or behind you that could get affected by this. But if I did see people that were affected by it, so KJ unfortunately is going to be hit with a penalty from the stewards at the end of the race, and that's not a good way to end your season there as well. But Kazooie got caught last week, and it's only fair that KJ will probably get caught this week as well. What a shame.
It's just one of those things that you look at, and it's really unfortunate to see. It's a shame for KJ. His race has gone completely downhill in this one when it was going so well. He's in the upper reaches of the points. He's out 4th position at one point in the wet conditions, and it's just all completely been undone. And yeah, he probably could be greeted by the stewards. We've got 2 drivers on some soft tyres, Tomato and Petrox.
They both had damage.
17 laps.
They both had damage.
They could have gone on to another set of mediums. They're going to have another set, I do believe, from qualifying that they didn't use. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one to go onto a set of soft, because they're not going to be going all the way to the end here.
No, the softs only last at best around about 10 laps, if that, maybe even 9. So I think it's going to be, again, a gamble for these two as well. But, you know, again, they will probably predict a late safety car as well. I think that's the only thing for these two to bring them back into the mix. But for Toxic, you know what? It's nothing to lose for him. Meanwhile, Will and Hadler were having a battle there for 10th place. We'll get a move around the inside of Hadler into 10-1. And we lost KJ from this race. He got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he decided that's enough. I don't want my season to end this way, so he's out of the race. And a huge shame there, because he wanted to prove himself to see if he wanted to be in this league next season, or maybe even F1. But I think tonight is going to be very, very difficult for him, to say the least. And maybe he'll get the second chance next season in F2, but we'll see what the admins think when they place them in the next week or two.
I've just watched Midnight go pretty much straight on at the Degners into the gravel trap there, and he's lost quite a lot of time. I don't know if there's a bit of a lag issue with him, because he is ghosted at the moment, even though he is driving at full speed. That might just be me having really bad internet. So yeah, unfortunate if that is the case, and that he's lost a hell of a bunch of time in comparison to his rivals who are way up the road now. I'm trying to find if anyone is really on for a move. It seems like Mish could be onto the back of Ballina come turn number 1, because Ballina's not got DRS on Fabi in front of him, so this could be Mish's playground here to go for a move. He's 5 tenths back almost off of Ballina. I don't think he wants to try for the move, so I doubt he's going to go for it. But World Rally onto the back of Lamp. Is he going to fight his teammate here? Of course, this guy's good friends, and no, he's not going to try and risk a move, even though he was probably close enough if he wanted to utilise some of his overtake. But he's just hanging back for the time being. Probably wants to save his tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix, because they might go off towards the end, while Lamp will be in a better position come the end of the Grand Prix. But yeah, stays in 8th position behind his teammate in 7th.
Yeah, that's a good point that you brought, actually. The hards will be a better delta at the end, which will help Lamp get the overtakes done. So maybe he's waiting just a little bit as well. And Lamp's going to gain position anyway for Kazooie due to his penalties. But I'm not being able to see the deltas for a while. Unfortunately, there's no deltas actually on my screen. So I can't tell who's going for the move and who's not. So I'm really relying on the track map at this stage, which is going to be difficult for me. But we shall see. Mish once again all over the back of Ballina as well, and I do believe Benjamin is already into 130R, and I think it's about a 2 seconds gap between the top two as well. Fabi in 3rd position. This is what I wanted to see from him. He wanted to prove himself this race, and he's definitely doing so far in a McLaren. He likes Japan, and he was looking forward to this track, so I'm not really that surprised as well. But we got Mish, who is right on the back of Banner again. Benjamin saying the fastest lap now. McKeenan, the fastest laps are going to be going thick and fast anyway. If you're in the top 10, you will get a point for the fastest lap, as Banner gives enough space for Mish. I think Banner is letting Mish through, so Banner may be struggling a little bit, or maybe Banner just wants the extra DRS later on, but Mish is up to 4th anyway. Maybe Banner, due to Banner having the penalty, maybe that's why he didn't want to hold him up a little bit, but to be honest, I thought he would have tried to get a gap down in front, but probably because Fabi is right in front, that's probably why he hasn't challenged too much. But we'll see if Banner's choice has paid off towards the end, as we're starting to see more penalties come into fruition as Midnight is out the race.
Midnight retiring in the pit lane there. I don't think Ballina wanted to fight with Mish too much. There was no need for the risk when it was evident that Mish was going to get by. So he's now down into 5th position with 3 second time penalty. We've got Kazooie a little bit behind him. He's got 8 seconds worth of penalties at this point, of course, for that speeding in the pit lane penalty that you picked up 5 seconds, and then another 3 second time penalty track limit on top of that will drop him quite far down the order because of how close they are at the moment. I do believe he'll probably drop to about 11th position at this rate if none of those penalties are wanting to get removed. So, but with how close the grid at this moment in time, a penalty could change obviously by a couple and really screw you in. It seems like everyone in the top 10 getting to spread out just that little bit. Paddlers onto the back of Will, though, Nishman in the fastest lap, probably getting assistance from that DRS he had earlier. But yeah, they're all at this stage. They've had their early scraps on the tyres. Now they just want to settle into a rhythm and try as hard as they can and just go as fast as they can and not take too much out of the tyres.
Yeah, I think this is where they've been tyre saving, to be honest. Tyre management, I think, is key around Japan because you especially lose it in the rears. They're very lucky that it's not that sunny yet. Otherwise, they would have caused a lot more issues. But you're starting to see the sun really peeking out as well. So when it gets hot and the track temperatures start to get a little bit hotter, then maybe then they'll have to start just cooling it down potentially as well and afford the rears to heat up as well. And if there is a potential moves for another stop, if some interesting challenges come, maybe a safety car, maybe the soft would be the best move, but at the moment they'll all be going on those tyres until the end of the Grand Prix. We know Lamp's going to make his tyres to the end, but the others is going to be a bit of a push. We're almost certain Hadler and CC Bray will probably make it to the end as well. Benjamin still leads from Lamborghini in 2nd, Fabi in 3rd, Mish in 4th, Banana in 5th, Kazooie in 6th, World Rally in 7th, Lamp F1 in 8th, Will in 9th, and we've got a yellow flag and the Toxic Tomatoes F2 race season has ended on a low as he's become the next driver to retire, and that's in the S's actually. Yeah, it's in the S's.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's pressed retire on that one. I don't think we're going to see a safety car for it. Yeah, the car's been cleared away. There was no car on the same part of the circuit, so I guess that's kind of what triggers the safety car will come out or not. But yeah, Benjamin leading by quite some way over Lamborghini at the moment. Yeah, so spaced out. But Mish is hounding the back of Fabi. Credit where credit is due. Of course, he's fighting for 2nd in the championship with Kazooie. Kazooie not in a good position at the moment with 8 seconds of penalties to his name. Could drop him potentially out of the points entirely. But yeah, the Italian onto the back of Fabi like he was in the wet, but he lost quite a bit of time in the pit lane, and it really did cost him come the end of it. And I believe he was stuck behind Ballina for a number of laps. Now he's finally cleared the AlphaTauri driver, been onto the back, putting pressure onto back of his completely ran out of ERS. He was on none for like 0% throughout the entirety of that second sector. It was only until Spoon Curve where he was able to recharge it. But now 7 tenths is the gap between himself and Fabi. Could certainly be on for a move, come towards turn of 1. Maybe not close enough, but he can certainly get closer to the back of Fabi's. Benjamin puts in another fastest lap. Is there any stopping him?
To be honest, he's absolutely pushing it, Benjamin. I mean, he's where is the Benjamin that I didn't see in Abu Dhabi and Mexico when his title was on the line, potentially? I mean, he's been absolutely nailing it at the moment. I'm not going to jinx him too much. He's doing a Champions Drive at this stage as well. He's going to pretty much, even though he sealed it, he's going to increase the gap by miles in this championship, which is what he wanted at least as well. And to be honest, a lot of people maybe in F1 maybe shaking in their boots a little bit when they see Benjamin doing that potentially as well. I would like to see an F2 champion maybe next season do well in F1. I really do hope he does. But he's doing well in F2 for his final race, and he's putting on a show for, well, he's not been involved in many battles. I think the only battle that he's had was with his teammate. He pulled away, I think, lap 2, lap 3, and this is the last we've seen from him so far. Everybody else seems to be battling in front of him, which is expected, to be honest. Now McKenna is also running his own race as well, P1 and 2. Everybody else is just really close behind. I believe Petrots can't join back into the session, so I think we've got 12 drivers, I believe, as Bandler picks up another 3-second time penalty. Kazooie has picked Kazooie. Let me just check the penalties actually. Kazooie's got 8. Wow. Bandler's on 6. Greedy and Petrots on 3. Everybody else yet to get any penalties. I'm not sure if they're warning free at the moment, but this just to give you, put things into perspective, as we're already halfway into this, almost, we pretty are much halfway into this race now. Time does fly by, really. Japan is just a great circuit. There could pretty much be battles everywhere. Mitch is now getting a really good run into turn 1, but his ERS is pretty much next to none at the moment. His ERS management is definitely not the good, but Fabi's ERS is not good as well, but it's faring a little bit better than Mish. I think Fabi's going to stay in front of Mish for now, but I have to say, there's not many places you can recharge your battery around here if you're not battling. So if you are battling, so Mish has got his work cut out here for the final 11 laps of this race.
Yeah, there's only a couple of braking zones, well, proper braking zones at this sort of position. Are about to head up to it now. The heaviest braking point on the circuit, of course, the hairpin, and we'll see how much they charge him. 20% on board with Mish, so he's got a little bit in reserve to attack Fabi from number 1, but of course he's got to close up to the back of the German for the time being. We'll see him now coming towards Spoon Curve. He's just seemingly a lot more confident than Fabi at this point, and it's certainly shown by the amount of time he's making a little bit of this up the hill, a little bit of overtake up the hill, he's towards 130 on. So the gap compared to 4.5 tenths at this moment in time into the Casio triangle now. For the 17th time, you can see Misha's got a much better run than Fabi, and he could be right onto the back of him in towards turn 1. He's kicked it up another gear, and he's using his last of his overtake. He's going for a move. He's pulled off to the right hand side. This will be the easiest overtake he'll ever have pulled off, unless Fabi's got anything to answer for it. No, he has not. Mish moving up to the 3rd position, trying to solidify himself in that 2nd position, going out with the bang in 3rd place on the podium. Good stuff from the Italian driver.
Yeah, I think this is what he needs to as well, and I think him performing like that is definitely going to solidify his 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship, which I have to say would definitely end his season on a high. I believe he was, he almost got the win in Australia in the first race, but he had penalties as well. I believe he's had 1 win in Belgium. Actually, no, that was Samuel Bean. It was France where we saw him take the win as well, and Singapore too, where he got the win, and that was both in the wet conditions as well. Him himself would have hoped it was raining throughout the entire race, but he's doing very well to keep up with these drivers at the top end of the field towards the end, and I think that will be very deserving of him getting 2nd. So to be honest, Mish is definitely a candidate for maybe F1 next season as well, if he can carry on like this and not bin it in any way, shape or form as well. So on lap 18 of 27, 10 laps to go of this Japanese Grand Prix. Actually now on lap 19 of 27, so 9 laps to go of this race, as Benjamin set another fastest lap. There's just no stopping the driver who has won the title last week. Mish also set the fastest lap too, I don't think Fabi's going to catch him anytime soon, but Kazooie is fighting back around the 2. Banana must be struggling. I think it must have been when he actually got passed by Fabi. He must be feeling the pressure a little bit, does Banana.
To the pit lane here. It looks like he's not got any
Soft.
to set himself.
Fastest lap.
Yeah, he's going for the fastest lap, but his teammate is just behind a fight between Hadler and Will at the moment. Hadler had a miraculous save coming out the final corner. It probably killed any chance of him making a move towards turn number 1, but it was really nice to see that he could at least keep the car straight. He got a little bit too happy on the throttle, and he pretty much put him way back from Will, and he's still trying to push him now for 9th position, both of them without penalty to their neighbours. CC Brain is also in this fight in 11th position. He's actually closer to Hadler than Hadler is to Will, and bad exit out of the chicane, not going to help his chances. So they are still fighting it out throughout the order, but that is for the lower end of the point. I think Kazooie has actually caught quite heavily onto the back of Fallon over the last
Yeah, don't forget, Kazooie had a 5-second penalty. He was speeding in the pit lane. You can't get that removed, and he also got a 3-second time penalty earlier on. That's why he's on 8 seconds, whereas Banner has only got 3 seconds. And no matter what happens, Banner is going to be ahead of Kazooie anyway. And I'll have to do some math regarding the Constructors' Championship. So at the moment, AlphaTauri will get points from Benjamin due to his win. Obviously, Banner will also get points too. And the gap, I believe, is around about 27 points. So, yeah. AlphaTauri would need to outscore Renault by quite a lot if they have to do it, but we'll have to wait and see how they do. This is the only title still to be decided. We had the drivers decided last week. It'll be interesting to see if Benjamin could do the double, and Kazooie being the only Renault driver, he's definitely got his work cut out with the penalties that he has got. If Kazooie gets out of the points due to his penalty, it may mean AlphaTauri do win the Constructors' title without even leading it all season, just like we've seen in other, maybe potentially other leagues as well. I think Haller's still fighting with CC Brain and Will, the only battle happening on circuit as well, and potentially Fabi and Mish, but Fabi's dropped out of the 1 second window for DRS, so unfortunately he can't make the move as of yet, but with 8 laps to go, anything can happen. We may see some signs of interesting things to come for these drivers as well. This is crunch time for these guys now. The final 8 laps of season 27 is upon us, for the F2 tier at least.
Yeah, so in 10 laps on these leading tyres, you'd expect them still being pretty good condition at the moment. I believe they can go about 17 laps. I do have a bit of information on this. We can quickly check, but yeah, I certainly think those hard tyres on the car of Lamb is probably going to be in better nick than the mediums. The mediums can last 18 laps, they'll be pretty much done. So yeah, they've still got quite a bit of time to go on these tyres, and then they'll start seeing the hard phase in very quickly. Time is Lamb to his teammate, who is right onto the back of Kazooie, who's still fighting with Fallon, as you can see a really good scrap for P5 on circuit. Of course, both of the drivers in 5th and 6th, Fallon and Kazooie, with 3 seconds at least to their name, but not 8 seconds. So they'll drop way down the order by the end of it. So regardless of where he finishes on circuit, if one rally keeps it clean, then he will be in 5th place by the end of it. So yeah, he's just got to keep his head down, try not to get into any incidences or get wing damage off of these two fighting, and then he'll be in a very strong position.
Williams and Ferrari join on points at the moment in the Constructors before the Japan race as well. So any advantage Ferrari could get in this race is crucial. With Will in 9th, Ferrari are definitely going to be ahead of Williams in the Constructors, because Totsi Tomato retired earlier on in the race as well in the S's section. So that could be good for the Ferrari boys as well. For both the Ferrari boys both had a win to their name. World Rally in Russia, Lamb in Mexico. So they're not going to get a win here, I don't think, unfortunately, with the way Benjamin is absolutely dominating on track. 6 seconds separating between him and Lamborghini as well. But I think Fabi's caught a little bit more submission. I had a feeling he was playing the waiting game for now. He was just biding his time, saving his tyres, because he knows it's going to be a bit of hit and miss on whether the mediums are going to make it to the end. So he thought, you know what, I will save early on in the race, and then when it gets to the end where it may be tricky for some drivers, I could really start to push, and then he could go for the move on Mish as well. Both of these drivers yet to have any penalties as well. So this is for the final podium position. We know Mish is going to get third in the drivers, but who's going to get third on the road, we'll have to wait and see, as World Rally is doing all he can now to get no penalties at all. Does he have any warnings?
Quickly check in his race director. He got a warning on the second lap, so he's on one warning. Oh, sorry, on the third lap. So we've got one warning to his name, so we can afford to go off the circuit and then pick up the second warning. But I think he'd like to probably have that buffer where he can make a mistake and it will still be okay, rather than him intentionally doing to make up time and then making another mistake and picking up a 3-second time penalty. So he's just going to want to stick to his gun and really just try all he can to stay on circuit. I don't think he wants to fight with Kazooie and Balana too much at the end of the day. It is just about the position that you get, not really about where you finish on circuit. Penalties being applied. Seems like Hadler though, neither of these drivers with a penalty. Bad run up the final corner for Hadler. Probably going to stump any chance of making an overtake. Speaking of that though, he's actually using up some of his overtake. Will's going defensive to the inside line. Where's Hadler going to go? He's going to have to go around the outside of turn number 1. Kimi Räikkönen though, has he made it stick through turn number 2? Oh, Will has gone into him, and Will is around. And I don't know if that was Hadler not leaving enough space or if it was Will. Oh damn, I've really got a 10-second time penalty. I think he's going to retire from that one there. But Will might have understood, might not have been left enough room. Either way, he's out of points now in 11th position.
Did Greeny cut the Casio triangle?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think he does the right thing, 'cause otherwise he was going to be penalised anyway. So, to be honest, a bit of a shame for Greeny, but that means CZ Brain will be 10th position for now. And interesting, it's not sunny. It's not sunny at the moment, so it's been like this for most of this race at the moment. So that was an interesting battle between Handler and Will. But we got another yellow flag in sector 1. That is probably Greeny coming out of the pit lane. Yes, it is. And as his AI retires from the session, as we've got Kazooie. He's caught up to the back of Balana massively now. This could be his chance. Another driver that's also been saving on his pretty much and his tyres. Fabi's lost a bit of time to Mish, but maybe he's going to wait just a little bit longer. Here comes Kazooie then to the right hand side into turn 1. Now to the right apex and moves to the left a little bit as they go through turn 2 and turn 3. And brilliant stuff from Kazooie, trying to get rid of every deficit that he has. And he's up to 5th on the track. Very, very crucial now. As long as he breaks within that 2-second window, he could be ahead of Balana. And to be honest, he's done very well with that as well. That was pretty good. He had to do it. I'm not sure Balana fight off that move, but I have to say Kazooie is looking very stronger than Balana right now. Balana is struggling a little bit, and I have a feeling World Rally could catch up to him.
I think Balana probably didn't want to fight that one too hard. He's probably confident that he could stay within 2 seconds of Kazooie, but if World Rally begins to fight him, both these guys could slip away from probably in 3rd position, I'd say, by the end of this, because Mish is in such a good place, unless he massively bottoms it in these last couple of laps. I do hope I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, Kazooie, he's just going for all the glory. Maybe to try and break away from Balana, but Balana is actually coming back at him. 130i, he's about 2 tenths back. And I'll tell you what, he gets a good run through the Casio triangle. He might try and make it through the Casio triangle. He's going to hang back for the time being. He will have DRS on the German driver. We'll see him on the exit a lot slower. Actually, World Rally is probably closer to Balana than Kazooie. So maybe he could try for it. He's certainly closing up towards Kazooie and towards the turn of 1. He's going to stick behind for now. And the Renault car stays ahead in 5th place. World Rally getting a good eye in on this one. He's got the best seat in the house, really, and 6th tenths separating these guys. Brilliant stuff to see on the last couple of laps.
This is a fight for potentially the constructors' battle, to be honest, because if Kazooie drops back a little bit. But I'm worried about Balana. Balana will need to score as many points as he can. If Balana drops by so much, because of the gap that Renault has, maybe Renault have probably done enough to win the constructors' title. We'll keep you updated towards the end of this race, but we do know Benjamin is going to be getting 16 points at the end, maybe the fastest lap point as well. Let me just check who's got the fastest lap at the moment. No, it's not. It's Mish that's got the fastest lap so far with a 1:28.726. Pretty close between Mish and Benjamin with the fastest lap, so we can have an interesting battle there as well. I think Bannon and Kazooie, the only battle that we're having at the moment as well as World Rally. Everybody else is just running their own races for now for the final few laps of season 27. The next time that you will see the PSGL season 28 will be in a few weeks' time when we head to Bahrain Shore for the first races. World Rally goes to the right of the Casio triangle there. He is going to do all he can to try and make sure Bannon might make a mistake, and World Rally does ascend there, and he's up into 6th position. He didn't really need to do that, but he wanted it for glory points. He wanted to have some fun at the end of the day, and to be honest, World Rally is definitely on course for some good points this race. He is anyway, but at least he wanted to have some fun, so bravo to him, I think, you know. And Lamp F1 just picks himself a penalty. I believe, is that his first one? Yeah, that's his first one. Lamp, how dare you?
I was going to say, maybe World Rally wanted to make that move so he could push Bannon back into his teammate, but then I was thinking, oh, that probably doesn't need to happen, but yeah, now it's changed. He still only has 3 seconds, so he will probably jump past both the drivers that he was going to get by anyways. But yeah, it's just a little bit a minor annoyance, I'd say, for Lamp to pick up a 3-second time penalty in this one. He still can be fighting with Bannon right towards the end, of course, because he has closed up by quite some ways. And well, those hard tyres are going to be in much better condition than the mediums, so that's why Lamp has really come alive in these last couple of laps. I don't think Bannon wants to be feeling pressure from this because he's pushing right to the rear of World Rally towards 130 yards. It seems like he's really close enough to make any moves, so that's yeah, Lamp certainly one to watch out for on the final lap of the Grand Prix.
Final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix, final lap of F2 this season, and final lap of season 27 as a whole in F2. And Benjamin, 7.2 seconds is the gap, and he's going to be on course to be getting his second win this season, and it's definitely been a champion's drive for him. He's already lapped Petrox as well. Obviously Petrox is connected earlier on in the race, but there's still battles to be decided between the two Ferrari boys and Bannon. Bannon is stuck in a Ferrari sandwich. Bannon cannot afford to make any mistakes. They are past their sell-by date, these medium tyres, so already that's probably why Bannon is struggling. But World Rally is definitely playing some teamwork games at this moment in time in order to make sure Bannon stays. And I'm just looking at the gap between Kazooie and Bannon. Maybe Kazooie may have done enough to stay ahead of Bannon. We'll have to wait and see as a lot of people cross the line, but we're just waiting. We'll go on board with our champion who was crowned last week in Abu Dhabi. Faultless drive, no mistakes at all, no penalties, and he led pretty much from the start, and he took the lead. He stayed there. Benjamin, your F2 champion, wins the final round of the season. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix. What a drive from him. We will get an interview from him, a champion's interview soon. Makina has crossed the line celebrating in second. Mish comes across the line in third, and it does confirm that Mish is second in the F2 championship. He is your PSGL F2 season 27 runner-up. Fabi in fourth position, World Rally fifth, Lamp sixth, Bannon in seventh. He finishes ahead of Kazooie. CC Brain in 9th and Handler in 10th, getting a final point. And Will is doing some donuts. Unfortunately, this is going to be his final race in PSGL for the foreseeable future, so I think he is allowed to do some donuts. So come on, Will, do donuts here. Come on, he's going to try to at least. There he goes. There. Oh, that kind of failed there, Will. Yeah, I've seen Will in many races in PSGL, and it's the same chain as coming to an end, but you know, he's driven some great races from the time that I've watched him and commentated on him, so shame his race didn't end on a high, but he's had a bit of fun this race, I can tell. But yeah, you know, he's going to fit across the line in 11th, and he's going to make the most of this donuts, and that just sums up the whole season. It's been superb to watch, really, as a whole.
Yeah, Will going out in style there for his retirement from PSGL. He's actually picked up a puncture on his right rear, sliding up towards the line. He'll cross it, and that is his PSGL career over. But what a season it has been! It's been a season of highs and lows. But Benjamin ultimately came out on top, and I think it'd be criminal if he didn't get into F1 next season. He has proven that he's the fastest driver out of any of them. And, well, just another display from him, another podium, and, of course, second win in season 28 to really solidify that. So, well done to him. Namakina picking up another podium this season. Good to see from him. And Mish taking up second place, coming down from F1 last season. But we really could see him back up there. So he'll be a bit of a yo-yo in these next couple of seasons. But well done to him for getting third place in the race and second in the standing.
Yeah, they were tied on points, and with Kazui having a mare of a race, that really helped him at the moment. Mish actually get the fastest lap for good measure as well, so that's an extra point for him. So instead of 10 points, he gets 11 points. So that's great to see. So anyway, Benjamin picks up the map 16 points. Makina in second, Mish in third, Fabi in fourth, World Rally fifth, Lamp sixth, Banana in seventh, Kazui eighth, CC Brain ninth, Hallow in 10th. We've got Will rounding up your finishes and your retirements, and disconnects are Pet Shots, Greeny, Toxic Tomato, Midnight, and KJ. Shame to have a lot of retirements, but that is it then. That is the final race of season 27 for F2, and we're going to get the interviews very soon. So I need to make a note of the finishing orders for Kazui and Banner. So Banner finished 7th, and Kazui finished 8th. So we'll have to do some maths in that one, but we are going to try and get the top 3. In particular, we are going to be getting our champion, our winner from tonight as well, into the booth as well to hear his thoughts on how his season went, I have to say, and his thoughts going into next season, probably the hardest season of his life, and it'll only be his second season.
Absolutely, but we all know Benjamin. We know he's going to smash it once he goes into F1. Hopefully we can get him into the commentary box. We can have some interviews with him. We'll have to get him in the waiting room, and then we can put him in, and we'll get interviews.
Yes, so I'm just looking at the maths to see. I'm just trying to see if AlphaTauri has done enough, and unfortunately, even with the points that they scored tonight, AlphaTauri have not done enough. So I'm proud to confirm Renault is your constructors champions of PSGL F2. So congratulations to Kazui and Samuel Bean for getting a title to their name as well. So well done to them as well. AlphaTauri will finish in second. We don't know about the rest of the team's positions, but we do know that Renault is your constructors champion. So well done to them. So we'll try and get them in as well. And whilst we do that, I'll just like to ask you as well, what has been your favourite race this season out of all the 12 races we've had?
Oh God, I've got to think. Right, I'm just going to quickly look at the actual calendar, see if I can jog my memory. There's been a lot of races that have gone so well, and they're really hard to pick. I'd like to say probably, I have no clue what to say actually. I think Australia was actually a really good one, the first race of the season. I'd say I can't really say the ones that I wasn't here for, but I guess I can. Mexico, of course, Lamp F1 finally taking the win. I'd like to say Singapore as well. It's a very interesting one, but not too much happened. But it was certainly great for just the stakes of really well their attrition was.
Yeah. I have to say, I've got it's going to be tough on what I think my favourite race of the season was. But yeah, I did enjoy Australia as well. Like, it had a lot of overtaking as well, and maybe I would say Great Britain as well. Monza was pretty good. I'm going to say, I think I would have to actually go Singapore as well, because Singapore just definitely. It had rain, it had everything, and it was just like probably one of my favourite races. I can't believe I'm saying Singapore is one of my favourite races, and I do believe we're going to be in Singapore next season as well. So I'm glad Singapore's on the calendar for next season. But we do have, if I could drag in him, our season 27 F2 champion in the rating room. So Benjamin, you ended your season in style. You were crowned F2 champion last week, and you've got the win for the finale race tonight. Tell us, first of all, before we talk about the race tonight, how does it feel to finally say that you are PSGL F2 champion?
Yes, I was really happy last week when I saw the incident report. And yeah, I never thought I would be in this position before the season. Yeah, I'm just really happy how I improved and how the whole season went.
Yeah, definitely as well. And to be honest, I kind of wish you had that sort of performance in Abu Dhabi and Mexico as well. But you definitely delivered when it counted tonight. Starting talking about your quali lap as well, knowing that the rain was coming at the start of the race. Did you have to compromise your setup a little bit, or did you run a dry setup for qualifying? Because your lap was really good.
Yeah, completely dry, and yeah, it was a really good lap, but I missed the apex at the last corner. So, like, there was really a tent in it. But yeah, it was still pole, so I'm happy.
Yeah, and the start of the race, you looked very clean as well. And Banner was trying you at the start, but once it got to about lap 3, you pretty much were in control from then on as well. What was your focus going into the rest of the race? Because we hardly saw much of you, really. You were just running your own race. You were just on your own as well. Did you get bored?
No, before it dried up, I was having a discussion with Belener when we should pit because one of us was gonna get it wrong or get held. But yeah, the lap that DRS got enabled, yes, we didn't pit. So yeah, one of us should have pitted that lap to make it better for both of us. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, but unfortunately you could not do the double as well. But tell us how helpful has been as your teammate been this season, because you definitely worked very well together, you and Banner as well. In the future, maybe if you end up in the same tier again in a few seasons down the line, do you think you'll be working together in seasons to come?
I think so. He's a really good friend of me, and yeah, we always practice together, and he's helped me a lot as well this game. And yeah, he's had a tough season. He had a lot of bad luck, and I'm sure he'll be back next season.
He definitely will as well. What's been your highlight this season? Obviously tonight, because you got the win. Any other races that stand to mind being your favourite races?
I actually think my first race in Australia.
Yes.
That's my
That's our favourite race as
dream
well.
race. P5 from the back of the grid. I was so happy back then. It's funny.
Because considering then you weren't even expecting to, well, I wasn't even expecting for you to be the champion from then on as well. I was predicting someone else as well, but I think Belgium was definitely the turning point as well, where we saw you get a really sensational pole lap, and we thought then from then on, right, you can actually be an actual threat, and you were staying consistently throughout as well, and getting to the point during the season where you haven't got any wins yet as well. Were you worried at any point that the lead was gonna slip through your fingers a little bit?
Well, at Mexico, when I disconnected and got pitted for the wrong tires, I got really, really a bit of an eye opener. I really need to practice well for the last races, but yeah, I had the confidence, but yeah, only in Mexico it was a little bit of a scary moment, but it's fine now.
And your expectations going to season 28, because I do believe you signed up for next season. Most likely, well, we're going to end up in F1 as well. Are there, what are your expectations going into the season, knowing that potentially you could be in the highest tier in PS4 and maybe and trying to deliver as well? And is there any tracks that you need to work a little bit to get your results, or are you just coming into next season for the fun to improve on your racecraft a bit?
Well, I think I'm going to next F1 next season, and I'm just gonna try to improve my driving. And yeah, honestly, I don't know where I'll end up, but yeah, I guess we'll see. And yeah, I'll be happy if I'm in the top 10, let's say, in F1.
Dan, any questions for Benjamin, our champion?
Yeah, I guess I just got to ask. Coming into this season, the start of season 27, what were your expectations? Where did you actually think you'd finish, and did you think you could be challenging for the title at any point?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I was just aiming to get maybe a top 10 sometimes. But yeah, I think after Belgium, when I got my first podium, I think yeah, Lee left as well, Lee finally. And yeah, I thought maybe if I can do some more podiums and practice well, I can maybe go for the championship. And yeah, worked well.
Yeah, well, it was it's an outstanding season from you, and I wish you all the best in the future, especially in F1 next season.
Thanks, Dan. Love you.
Love you too.
Aw. Anyway, we don't have, I think, the other podium people for the interview, but we're gonna get someone. I'm gonna let Dan take the reins for this one, but we're gonna bring someone who's not gonna be racing in PSGL next season. He's been in a lot of races. Well, we may as well bring him in because he deserves his last farewells in this booth as well. So hand it over to him, Dan, and Will. How you doing? And Will's on mute.
Sorry. Hello.
There we go then. I'll hand over to you, Dan.
Right, so Will, this is your final race in PSG. It's your second retirement. So, do you think we'll ever see you back in PSGL ever again?
well, I don't know. I thought when I first retired that I wouldn't come back, but you know, ever since I retired first time, it's the league's just making a huge step. So I don't know if the league keeps making these huge steps, then I don't know. I might see me come out of retirement again.
Oh, well, I hope we do. We can see you in the future. But over your entire career, where would you say was where you were really at your peak, and what was kind of the highlights of your career?
Well, probably my biggest highlight was definitely winning the F2 title. I just think that my pace then and my commitment to the game was just a lot higher, and then obviously getting promoted to F1, where it didn't go as planned, but it was quite enjoyable to race against some of the top drivers at the time. And then I'd say probably taking the step forward this season to run no assist, it was quite a big decision to probably stay in the league, but I committed to it, and I guess the results don't really speak to what I was able to do. I think my quali pace definitely needed work, but when the race came along and the reverse strategy, that was probably my biggest thing that helped me out loads, and obviously the rain helped me out so much. I think that sort of defined my season, and my all my four seasons, 5 seasons, I don't know, all these seasons across PSGL, that just sort of defines what it's really been like for me.
Yeah, well, just thinking about this season in particular, where would you say was your favorite race, and where do you think you best performed?
I don't know. I think my best performance was probably round one at Australia, purely because of the reverse strategy. I'd say probably Australia or Belgium. I think Australia, I sort of I had a huge advantage with a lot of people pitting early onto the mediums, and me having fresh softs just helped me out loads. But with Spa, I think I had to really work for it a lot more than what I had to do at Australia. And even though the results weren't the same, I think that race sort of it's hard to explain. I think that race, especially from where I started, I think I started like dead last or something in that race. But coming through the field, I think that race was, I think I approached it quite calmly, and I just managed to get the result on the day.
Yeah, well, all credit it must be given to you. You've had a really brilliant career, illustrious moments, and a lot of wins. So, really well done for your entire PSGL career, and enjoy the retirement home, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
So there we go then. That is the final interview of season 27, and we're about to wrap up the stream for the F2 tier, and I'd just like to say a few thank yous to everyone before we wrap up. First of all, thank you to all the drivers for racing each week. You've been a pleasure to watch over and commentate over as well. Without you guys, there wouldn't even be any racing. So thank you to everyone that's turned up. Apart from tonight, we had 16, which is still not too bad, but we've had like 18 to 20 drivers turn up each race, and I have to say that's a credit to the admins and the drivers for their commitment, so thank you for that. Speaking of the admins, thanks to CC Brain and Greeny LFC for putting in all the effort into this tier, in particular CC Brain with the graphics, as well as Greeny as well for inviting everybody each week, keeping us under the straight and narrow as well. Obviously, thank you to Connor for giving us the chance to commentate on F2 once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And finally, this is the last hurrahs for Dan, because he's no longer going to be doing F2 next season. It's been a pleasure commentating with you for the last 2 seasons. It's a shame we won't be doing it next season together, but it's been a blast working with you, and I hope we cross each other's paths very, very soon. But Dan, on behalf of PSGL and myself, I'd like to wish you the best of luck commentating along with the big boys in F1 next season. I hope you do amazing as well, and I hope you had a lot of fun for the last 2 seasons, because I definitely did with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great experience learning from you in F2, and I'll carry all that with me into F1. I'm really excited for the new season in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. So it's going to be brilliant to be in F1, and hopefully it will be a great season like it was this season.
Yeah, and speaking of season 28, here's a quick rundown of the calendar as well. We got Bahrain Short. There's going to be the first race for F1, definitely for F1 and F2 at least. It'll be the 29th of March where we'll see Bahrain Short. Then we head to Singapore for round 2. Then it's Austria, Belgium, Netherlands, France, Canada, Japan, Baku, and Brazil. And then basically after this season, the season 28, all the circuits in the game, PSGL would have raced at. So Baku would be the first time we would race there as well. So great to see there as well. Thanks to Dan for joining me in the commentary box this season and for the last 2 seasons. And also thank you to everybody, to all you guys for watching us as well this season. We'll be back we'll be back next season in about a couple of weeks' time on the 29th of March for the first round of the season, Bahrain Short. If you're still interested in signing up, check the Discord link at PremierSimGL on Twitter for that. Sign-ups close at midnight tonight, so don't hesitate. If you want to sign up, please do. It's a great league. I highly recommend it. And who knows, we could be commentating on you next season. We'll see you next season for the Bahrain Short Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody, and make sure you enjoy F1 and F5 and F6 as they round off their season 27 campaign. Goodbye.